Stop loss and take profit are basically exactly the same but just opposite of each other. So stop loss will move with the price, and both of them will move with the price but in the opposite directions of each other. Okay, so we're going to start with the stop loss types at the top. So we double click there, we've got a few options. So we've got static pip distance, so I'll show you where these are set. The static pip distance is set amount of pips from the entry price. Then we have risk and reward percentage. So this, you would have to have a static volume for this to work. So set in the money management, you would have fixed lots, and then this would adjust the stop loss according to your risk reward percentage. So they remove the stop loss that distance away. So delayed chandelier stop. So this you can look up online. Delayed chandelier, I think it uses ATR to establish a distance from the current price. So that's delayed chandelier. For more about it, it's a little bit more complex to explain, but if you look online, they tell you exactly how delayed chandelier works. Okay, then we have swing level. So swing level, there's different types of swing levels which we'll go over later. The couple of options are last swing point according to where the price is, if it's below or above or below. So say we have a swing coming down and the price is moving up, your stop loss would be at the bottom of the swing point if in a buy position, but if in a sell position, it'll be at the top of this with the last swing point, so the second last swing point. So that's one of the options, and then you have the different fib levels between that, and then the average size of a swing, the minimum size of the swing, and the maximum size of the swing. But I'll show you all those options later. The swing level Avramis method is a method I learned through a company called Tradepedia, and the gentleman's name was Avramis, and his method was that for stop level you always have it on the last swing point, and then Fibonacci 100 is when you enter your position, and then after Fibonacci 100 you take profit at Fib 161 and then 261. So for stop level, this will be equivalent to the last swing point, or in the direction, away from the direction that you're trading. Okay, then you've got maximum value of historical bars or candles. So this will take the largest candle of the amount of bars you specify in the settings preceding this. I'll show you the details. So if you had 10, 20 bars back, it'll take the maximum candle size of all those 20 bars. Then you've got channel moving average stop. So you can select, there's 6 different moving averages on the system. You can select any one of those 6 moving averages as a stop. So these settings here, the swing type, are going to be initial. There's also a trail mode which is going to also affect these, but I'll show you directly after the setting. Okay, so the next one's Bollinger Stop. So you can select which Bollinger band the closest stop that you want the price to be stopped at. So if you've got a price below, say, the middle of the band, you can specify how many levels away you want to stop, specifically 1 or 2, or it will only be 1 or 2 in this, but it can also, in pivots, it can be multiple. So in this case, you would specify usually 1. So what happens is, if it hits the middle of the band, if that in the middle of the band is the one that is away, the closest to the current entry price, then that would be the stop. Or if you selected 2 as an option, I'll show you that later again, then it would be the top of the band, and reversed if it was a different, if the price is moving in a bullish direction. So that's what Bollinger Stop is. Pivot Stop, exactly the same, except it uses pivot points. So with pivot points, obviously there's about 5 different pivot resistance and support lines. So what happens there is, again, you can specify how many support levels or resistant levels away that you want the stop to be from the current entry price. That comes later, I'll show you again. Then we have parabolic SAR stop. You can look on the MT5 platform there. is a parabolic SAR indicator that you can apply to your chart. It'll show you exactly where the stops go. And then this is a more advanced version of parabolic SAR stop, and they have some settings which come later too. I'll show you those. Okay, so those are the different stop types. Next, you have trail types. These are reflectant to the setting above. So no trail, what will happen is the stop will be set once at entry if you have no trail, and will never change after that. If you click down the list, you have more options. You've got dynamic bi-directional as per stop strategy. So if you've got a stop strategy that you believe should allow the stop to move backwards and forwards, not in a single trailing direction, you would select that one. Then you've got dynamic trail. What this does is it allows the stop to move according to your stop strategy, only in a trailing direction. It'll never move back. Then you've got immediate trail. So if the price moves up from the entry price by 1 pip, then the trail will move 1 pip. There's also have settings to speed that up, so you can move 2 pips, 3 pips. I'll show that later. And that moves instantly the minute it moves from the entry price. Partially delayed trail, what this does is it gives a little bit more room for the price to move. So the price will trail like the immediate trail, however, only once the price has moved from the entry the distance that the stop is to the entry. So it'll move, so say you got your stop 10 pips away. Once the price has moved 10 pips, then the trail will start trailing, but it'll move 10 pips and then trail. So that kind of protects you, so you're in a positive balance when you do start trailing. Then you got delayed trail, and what this does, it trails the distance from the entry, the stop loss distance or the take profit, whichever setting it pertains to. It'll trail in multiples of that specific amount. So for example, if you have 10 pips away, once the price has moved 10 pips away from the entry, then the stop loss will move 10 pips. Then once it moves another 10 pips away from the price it is then it'll move another 10 pips. So it's basically like a delayed trail, and it will move the multiple of the distance of the trading of the initial stop. Okay, so those are what those two stop loss types are. Okay, now when you have swing level as the mode, these are the different swing types you can have. So you got here the last swing point, which I specified before, is the very last swing point, or the second last if it's in the direction. Say it's a continuation pattern, then it'll probably be the second last swing point. If it's a reversal pattern, it'll be the last swing point. Then we have swing plus maximum swing pips. So this, over the last 1,000 bars, which are stipulated in the beginning, and that's in the settings where the analysis is done for the whole EA. So this will get the max swing any swing continues for, and added to the swing price, the last swing point, and that will be your stop loss, or subtracted from the swing point if it's below the stop loss. And the same here. Then the average, this will be for the average amount of swing pips. This will be for the minimum amount of swing pips, and this was if you want to reverse it, which most of the time these ones won't be used. So this will be the exact invert of the others. So the stop loss will be in the inverted direction to what you stipulate there. Next, you've got Fibonacci swing points. So the last swing point will automatically have a Fibonacci attached to it. Those Fibonacci values is which these are stipulating. So this will be 0%, so the exact swing point. This will be 23% of the reversal or reversing swing, or the continuation if it's an extension or retracement, and that will continues all the way to A61. And then you got swing minus fib, or fib minus 23.6. That's the exact opposite. It'll take the swing away from the swing point. So for instance, if you're getting a retracement then and your swing level is at 0%, then if you wanted to put a stop just under that at Fibonacci minus 23.6, then you would select swing less there. But I think I've changed in the latest version. I definitely changed in the latest version, so it says swing fib minus 23.6%, and that is basically all your different swing types. Following that is stop loss adjust percentage of original. What this does is it's like an offset. So if you wanted to offset the stop loss, even though you've set those settings, you can set this to a percentage of how you want to offset it. If you want to offset it a little bit bigger, you have a 120%. This will always be your original stop percentage. Then over here, this will act as your minimum stop distance, and both as your minimum, and if the static pip distance is selected, that will be your static pip distance. So 10 pips in this case. Okay. This is going to be your stop loss percentage of balance. So this is your risk or risk to reward ratio, or whatever you want to call it. So if you have when it's in a stop loss setting, if you have 2% here, you have to have a fixed amount of volume that you're trading with, and this will adjust the stop loss at the distance it needs to be for it to be that percentage of risk. When it comes to take profit, though, you don't have to have a static money management setting, because the take profit, the stop loss will be setting the risk. This will become the profit reward ratio on the stop loss on the take profit setting, but I'll show you that in a second. Chandelier Stop. This is part of the settings for the Chandelier Stop. This is a period of 22 candles. That's the standard. You can set it to whatever you like. Okay, this is the setting for the number of bars back, so it's set as 65, so which means if you take 65 candles or bars backwards, the stop loss size will be the maximum or the largest candle in those 65 candles or bars. Okay, and then you got your moving average stops. In the EA you have 6 different moving averages, and each one is named a different name: super fast, fast, semi-fast, medium, medium slow, and slow. And what this does is this will select one of these as your stop distance away from the entry. If you select dynamic trail in both directions, then the stop price would move and stay on your moving average as the price continues along, or the moving average continues along. And if you put dynamic trail without both directions, not bi-directional, then it will only go to the highest during its execution. Okay, so then that's semi-fast moving average. Next one is stop level channel distance. So this one pertains more to the pivot and the Bollinger Band. So what this will do, it will select how many resistance or support levels away it should be, or the stop should be, from the last support or resistance level. So in Bollinger Band, you've got the bottom of the band, the middle of the band, and the upper band. If you set this to 1 and you're between the middle band and the lower band, and the price is continuing up, your stop would be at the middle of the band. If you set it to 2, it would be at the upper band. However, if you set it more than that on Bollinger Band, it wouldn't matter, because it would always select the last resistance point, and that would be the stop. If there was no resistance point, you wouldn't get a stop, probably you wouldn't get an entry. Okay, and that's the same for pivot levels. So you've got different pivot types, and there's Fibonacci, there's standard pivots, there's Camarilla pivots and Woody pivots, and you have those options on time frames of daily, monthly, just daily and weekly, daily, monthly, and weekly. So depending on which ones are selected in your pivot settings on the current time frame, the whole stop loss and take profit only work or only pertain to the actual current time frame. So if you have time frames that you're checking ahead or time frames you're checking before, those are irrelevant. Okay, then you got stop channel distance mode. So in that level mode, I have two options here. You can go levels away from center or levels away from current price. So you can choose either or with this. This for the pivot and for the Bollinger Band. Parabolic saw step setting. If you want to read up more about parabolic saw, this is the standard setting, and you can go have a look and see what settings are best for it. I don't use it much, but I put it in there just in case for some traders who do like parabolic saw. And then we have here the parabolic saw max. So that's another setting that goes into parabolic saw. As I say, you look online. It's a standard setting that you can find if you just Google it. Parabolic stop interval or parabolic saw interval. You can go look up those settings on Google. And that's everything for stop loss. Now we have the exact same thing for take profit, exactly the same. The only difference is that take profit trails. It'll bring the profit closer to the price, which means less profit. It won't take it away from the price. It'll be squeezing the prices together. If you put a trail on the stop and you put a trail on the take profit, they'll squeeze together. That's particularly good in ranging markets. If you've had a bit of volatility and now the price is just ranging, you just squeeze it together to try and get it to take profit, to take you out of the position with a profit. So that's exactly the same as the above, with exception to one, and that's take profit percentage of balance. So if you wanted to do a risk reward to ratio, in your money settings you would be setting your risk, so at 2% for whatever your stop is, and over here is where you'd be setting what percentage you'd like to win. So if it was 2% and you want a 1 to 2, you put 4%. That's how you would do a risk to reward ratio. Other than that, everything exactly the same as stop loss. So that should be everything for take profit and stop losses.